So this is Virium, the legendary home of Porceloid production. The evenings here are downright frigid. Whew. How does a place as flashy as the Flint family's Blazelight Hall not have a single light on? This is definitely the meeting spot. So where is everyone? Wait a minute. According to the legends, if a bamboo ventures into a dim, ancient castle on a cold, dark evening, what awaits them next is...
You looking for me?
Oof.
Help.
Roxy, are you okay?
I'm fine, milady, but our guest might not be.
Phew. Oh, it's Mr. Z. He's a pretty outdated model. Easy. Dealing with an old model of bamboo just takes finding the right angle. Give it a good smack, and we're good.
Yes, milady.
All right, Mr. Z. I think Roxy just wanted to say hi, right?
Yes, and he scared himself so bad that he just passed out cold.
I'm not scared. You just don't have any lights on in this huge hall, so I couldn't see a thing.
That's because milady said turning off the lights would save...
Roxy!
Oh. Have some tea, Mr. Z. This is milady's prized black tea. Only served to special guests.
Thanks a lot. But let me make one thing clear. I am not some outdated bamboo with an old model. Though, if Miss Claret could spare me some porceloid for some upgrades.
Roxy, looks like his logic core's still glitching a bit.
Understood, milady.
No. I'm operating just fine, and my memory's crystal clear. I totally remember bringing the first piece of intelligence for today's preview.
Everyone, look. That enormous building over there is the world's only porceloid production site. The legendary forge known as Flint Workshop. That lie called Sunbringer that has been hidden from the world since our time. When the truth comes out, how will Rose Califer react? Or rather, how will all of New Eridu react? If the Sunbringer I knew had been like them.
She is not the same person.
And yet, her identity is still passed on to Linvern in the end. To all three of them.
Are you after my blood too? Now it's getting interesting. Mess with me and it's over! Out of my way! About half as good as me. With my blood, I'll reforge this battle! Behold, the Flint family's craftsmanship!
Let me show you my replacement for Sunbringer.
Then I suppose I'll have to silence all of you. Forever.
Who's Roxy?
Why, a sweet little matcha cake, of course.
Fire it up. I smell the end of the shift. At your service, milady. One last push and clock out. Time to say goodnight.
Let's end this little old classmates charade of ours. What do you think, Enchainer of the Hive Lord Hollow?
Is this really gonna boost our popularity?
Hey there, proxies. Welcome back. I'm your most loyal intel broker, Mr. Z. To get these two guests here, I tapped on every connection I've built up over the years. First, let's give a warm welcome to the legendary genius Smith and head of the Flint family, Miss Claret Flint.
Finally a decent introduction. I'm not just the head of the house. I'm also the director of Flint Workshop. Big responsibilities come with the title.
Of course. Everyone knows Miss Claret's got a ton on her plate and countless assistants handling her affairs. But the one she trusts most? That has to be Miss Roxy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Roxy, a smith at Flint Workshop, and Milady's assistant. Well, one of them, because Milady has plenty of assistants.
You don't have to emphasize it.
They say Roskillifer is the birthplace of porcelain. So naturally, the Flint workshop that actually processes it has a pretty important standing here.
Of course. The art of forging porcelain was perfected with generations of Flint blood, sweat, and effort. I'd never let anyone just take our porcelain as they please.
Is that so? Last time, Lady Dracena merely flashed a smile and handed over some pastries. And Milady just gave away our precious porcelain, just like that.
I only did that because I was looking out for Phaethan's health. I'm just a kind person, okay? But I'm getting every last scrap of that porcelain that went missing back.
Oh, I recall Miss Valina once came down to New Eridu to track down a shipment of missing porcelain. Could it be?
Yes, there's been a new development. Someone intercepted that porcelain shipment from our transfer station and moved it somewhere it definitely shouldn't be.
Stealing porcelain right under my nose? Don't blame me for what happens next.
But that place looks heavily guarded, and the enemies are on high alert. Getting in there is gonna be quite the feat.
Nothing in this world's difficult for me.
How wonderful. I trust you'll crack the mystery of the missing porcelain without a hitch, milady.
Obviously. Not only are we busting into a heavily guarded transfer station, but we're also gonna run into an old friend.
An old friend? Oh, I get it. It must be... Why'd you go quiet on me, Miss Claret?
We'll let the proxies discover it for themselves. Either way, I'll be taking back what's mine with grace and style.
Exactly. The legendary proxy Phaethan, who's visiting Virium for continued treatment, will surely lend you both a hand.
Well, yeah. Milady funded a large amount of porcelain for their treatment after all. She's essentially their creditor now. Guess that's what it means to be forced into labor, huh?
Hey, what do you mean by that? I'll have you know they offered their help voluntarily. And during our investigation with the proxy, we'll also uncover some information closely tied to Helios Academy.
Could it be that person who looked like an old classmate showed up in Virium too? An old friend and an old classmate. Feels like the porcelain theft case is getting more and more complicated.
With so many people coming to the island all at once, who's to say some of them aren't eyeing our porcelain?
There aren't many out there who know where the transfer station is while having the means to move that much porcelain without being noticed.
You're saying the mastermind is someone who is coming to the island?
Or maybe they're right here among us.
Don't even think about scaring me again, Miss Roxy. I'm not gonna get scared so easily this time. Besides, Airspace Patrol's very own administrative director is personally on the case. With Lady Lindvern's help, I bet we'll track down the real culprit in no time.
Exactly. Lindvern also asked me to help investigate some porcelain found within Gerta Blulu's remains. Following the clues, we tracked down a research facility and uncovered even more secrets about the missing porcelain.
Secrets? Seems like you don't plan on revealing those just yet, Miss Claret. So I'm guessing info about the Sunbringers, something everyone's dying to know, is classified too?
Really? Doesn't everyone already know? The Lady Sunbringer who established Roskillifer did a lot for the Flint family. And like my ancestors before me, I'm grateful to her.
Yeah. For as long as I can remember, the ones who watched me and Milady grow up were the current 3 Lady Sunbringers.
That's right. Roxy and I used to ride on Lindvern's shoulders when we were kids. We're super close, you know. But as we got older, I've always had this feeling that Lindvern has been hiding something really important from me.
Oh? What could it be?
It's a secret that belongs to my friend. There's no way I'd blab about it.
You don't know it either, do you, milady?
Roxy!
Well, no matter how much time passes, nothing can ever change what the Sunbringers did for Roskillifer.
Exactly. Still, I can't shake this feeling that the calm now is heralding a raging storm. As for the sudden appearance of this old classmate, what the mastermind is really after, And the secrets behind this long-awaited reunion, the Sunbringers and Rose Califer, will leave it for you to discover in the upcoming new version, Their Secret Histories. So it sounds like the two of you are pretty confident you can track down the stolen porcelain, huh?
Obviously. Taking down these petty thieves is child's play for me.
Great! Then let's see what these two agents are really made of. First up, we have Miss Claret, an S-rank electric armorer agent, dancing through combat, delivering deadly strikes with a form that's both graceful and razor-sharp. It's simply...
Ahem!
Milady's waiting for you to get to the point, Mr. Z.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I see. Not a problem. Armorer agents are powerful damage dealers, standing out with their ability to deal massive damage through new mechanics like maim and multiple crits. Let's take Miss Claret as an example to explain each mechanic in detail. First up is maim. Claret's attacks will build up gash on enemies, accumulate enough to inflict 1 stack of gash, up to a maximum of 3 stacks. Hitting the enemy with certain skills at this point will consume 1 stack of gash to trigger maim, dealing additional damage and granting combat buffs for a certain duration. In short, the harder you hit, the more damage you deal. As for multi-crits, when Claret's crit rate exceeds 100%, she is guaranteed to land a critical hit once, with her excess crit rate giving her a chance to do so again. Critical hits may be fearsome, but don't rush to stack crit damage just yet, proxies. When Claret lands a critical hit, laceration damage is used instead of crit damage for damage calculation. In addition, all of the damage from her attacks skill off defense rather than attack. In other words, getting enough crit rate and defense is more crucial. Put simply, the defining feature of armor agents is their ability to balance offense and defense, while their relentless offense lets them stack gash on enemies and trigger it. While they're buffed, multi-crits let them unleash devastating damage on enemies, even more uniquely. Armor agents have an additional support skill, Counter Assist. They can contest certain enemies' control skills, and winning the clash negates the control skill and knocks the enemy back. Pretty slick, don't you think?
It's nothing for a lady like me.
Alright, now let's take a closer look at Miss Claret's skills. The Armorer Agent's energy gauge is replaced with Sharpness, and using a special attack consumes Sharpness. Claret can switch to her Blood Axe form and strike the target enemy. In Blood Axe form, some skills deal increased damage, while their alternate attacks offer more varied combos. After applying gash to an enemy, press Special Attack to consume it and inflict maim, increasing Claret's laceration damage for a certain duration. Keep up the pressure and unleash a relentless assault while the effect lasts. If the enemy has multiple stacks of gash, hold Special Attack to unleash a series of slashes that deal massive damage, and gash can be consumed repeatedly during the attack to inflict maim. Here are some of Claret's alternate attacks. In Blood Axe form, Claret leaps into the air and slams down during the third hit of her basic attack. If the enemy attacks while she is airborne, she can trigger a perfect dodge. Afterward, press Basic Attack to loop back into the third hit of her basic attack. After using a special attack on an enemy with gash to inflict maim, press Basic Attack to follow up with a spinning leap and downward smash. Then, press or hold Basic Attack to follow up with another third hit of the basic attack. Her moves are swift and unpredictable like a streak of red lightning, leaving enemies dazzled. Now let's take a look at Miss Claret in action. Claret opens with a series of attacks in Blood Axe form. With gash applied to the enemy, press Special Attack to consume it and chain into her alternate attack. This playstyle can also trigger perfect dodges against particularly active enemies, making her combos even smoother and more fluid. After repeating the cycle a few times, switch to a stun teammate at the right moment to trigger a daze combo, then bring Claret back in to keep attacking and build up Gash. Hold special attack to consume all Gash stacks at once and stun the enemy, then follow up with her ultimate for massive burst damage. It's a seamless combo from start to finish.
Exactly. That's just what the director of Flint Workshop is capable of. Alright, enough with the small talk. Roxy's up next, right?
Coming right up. The S-rank wind attribute stun agent Roxy is no slouch either when it comes to raw power. She excels at creating and manipulating tornadoes to wreak havoc on the battlefield. Hold EX special attack to send Roxy spinning and unleash a tornado that sweeps across the battlefield, allowing you to control its movement while building up her personal resource, wind energy. When the tornado ends, Roxy fires a blast of wind at the enemy, consuming all wind energy and creating an eye of the storm on the field. If there are already enough eyes of the storm on the field, she will automatically follow up with a heavy attack, detonating them in the process. Detonating enough eyes of the storm will summon a powerful tornado to attack the enemy. With enough decibels, unleash her ultimate, and Roxy will summon multiple tornadoes to unleash a devastating attack on a wide area in front of her.
If only a strong gust of wind could sweep away all the tedious documents, too.
You're not seriously thinking of destroying the workshop with a tornado, are you?
Don't worry, milady. I'll make sure to follow the safety procedures properly.
The way you two converse is pretty interesting. Let's continue with the demonstration and see what Miss Roxy can do in actual combat. We'll have Claret lead the attack as usual, then switch to Roxy when the opportunity arises to unleash a mobile tornado and gather the enemies. Before she fires a blast of wind, switch back to Claret, then use her special attack and ultimate to finish off the enemies. Roxy's addition certainly makes the battlefield feel a lot more refreshing.
Naturally, she's no ordinary talent. After all, she's my assistant.
Thank you for the compliment, milady. I'll make sure to put my skills to good use and take on more work.
But try taking a break once in a while, Roxy.
Now that we've wrapped up the agent introductions, it's time for the signal search info you're all waiting for, proxies. In the first half of version 3.2, through the exclusive channel Blood Moon Rising and the corresponding W Engine channel, proxies can obtain the limited S-rank agent Claret and the S-rank W Engine Crimson Thirst.
Since you went out of your way to invite me, fine. I suppose I can spare some time to work with you.
In the second half, through the exclusive channel Cinder Knight Respite and the corresponding W Engine channel, proxies can obtain the limited S-rank agent Roxy and the S-rank W Engine Crimson Moon Casket.
Milady is actually thrilled to work with you all. Naturally, so am I.
For reruns, the first half features our beloved idol Nan Gongyu, leader of Angels of Delusion, along with her W Engine Neon Fantasies. In the second half, we're bringing back the cold and formidable Krampus judge Promia, accompanied by her W Engine Frostfall Sickle. Alongside the new agents, their corresponding agent avatars, trust events, and dynamic wallpapers will also be available. Of course, our regular check-in event is back too. Don't forget to log in during the event period to get up to 10 encrypted master tapes and 10 coupons. Oh my, I've been talking for so long, my mouth is getting a little dry. Let's take a short break. And that means it's redemption code time. Welcome back, Proxies. I just received a very special surprise. It's a letter from the producer, Zhenyu. Let's take a look at what he has to say. Wow! Without further ado, let's take a look at the new outfits. After the version update, Proxies can head to the event interface to check out the Angels of Delusion outfits. Let's first review an event where you can easily get your hands on the new Angels of Delusion outfits. In the 14-day surprise screening plan check-in event, which will be available as an additional event in version 3.2, Proxies can log in during the event period and complete the designated daily check-ins to claim one of the Angels of Delusion outfits of their choice. You can also earn polychromes, avatars, ether batteries, and other rewards.
Roxy, set me an alarm so I don't forget to claim it later.
Got it, milady. I'll add it to the schedule.
I also hear that Kakibu, manager of Chic Boutique, has started an open lecture on the fundamentals of aesthetics, spreading his profound aesthetic vision to the masses.
Oh, you mean that tailor shop on Gear Street? Every time I walk by, I can never figure out what they're mumbling about.
A purely theoretical lesson can be a little dry, so Kakibu has decided to reveal the true strength of aesthetics through the power of games.
Oh?
Kakibu will invite the Proxy to collaborate on a pinball machine that's equal parts educational and entertaining, while dripping with artistic flair. Hopefully, he can spread his aesthetic vision to every last corner of Rose Califer through this pinball machine. In the challenge designed by Kakibu, the pinball knights will encounter monsters blocking the way as they pursue the truth of aesthetics. Proxies will need to control the paddle to launch pinballs and utilize the various mechanisms and items on the field to fend off waves of incoming enemies. Eliminate all enemies on the field to seize victory. During the challenge, Proxies will also encounter different agents, drawing inspiration from them to create unique pinballs with their own distinctive traits. Each type of pinball has its own unique skill, and using these skills strategically can create even more varied effects. Join the agents for some endless bouncing fun. Complete the challenges to earn rewards, including a hamster cage pass, polychromes, and even unlock a brand new set of protagonist accessories.
They do have a very artistic feel to them.
Additionally, after completing the challenge mode in this event, Proxies can claim an Angels of Delusion outfit from the Angels Support Operation event page. A game console called Orbevolution is sweeping through the streets of Rose Califer, captivating Bangbu and humans alike. And by a stroke of luck, the Proxy managed to get their hands on one too. Log into the game daily or spend battery charge to earn food. By feeding the pets and watching them grow little by little, your cozy little home will gradually start to feel even warmer and more welcoming. These adorable pets need plenty of companionship, so if you have some time, be sure to drop by and check on them often.
Not bad. It's kind of cute, actually.
Do you want to give it a go, milady?
Of course not. I just didn't want to ruin the vibe. But if there's any extras, I suppose I could give it a try.
Complete event missions to obtain polychromes and other rewards. I believe he's bound to become the game console of choice for the esteemed guests of the ESD. Oh right, do you all still remember Boo Estrom's private detective agency? Previously, our Proxies teamed up with Detective Crow and the Bangbu Hubble to uncover the truth behind several cases together. Now, our two old pals have a new case on their hands. Word is, this is no small case. Rose Califer's Claret data was apparently smuggled down to the surface. To get to the bottom of this, Proxies will join the operation as a temporary detective assistant, tracking suspects and setting up surveillance.
Going undercover? Looks like they're just as good at secret missions as I am.
Oh? I don't recall you having that particular talent, milady.
Hey!
Anyway, when the time comes, Proxies, it's up to you to piece together the clues and uncover the truth. Remember to claim your polychromes and other rewards for completing these missions too. Now let's shift our focus back to New Eridu. The HIA has just launched the new virtual combat event exclusively for the club's core players. According to Miss Nan Gongyu, a mysterious collaborator has prepared all sorts of new and unseen challenges for this combat. Wonder if that'll give a legendary player like the Proxy any trouble.
To be honest, it was Milady who designed this program.
Huh?
It was originally intended to be used to test porcelain weapons. Regrettably, data from non-combat environments proved too incomplete, so the idea had to be scrapped. But Milady couldn't bear to let all those development costs go to waste. So she repurposed the test program as a game.
Roxy! You can't just go around spilling trade secrets like that!
It's all right, Milady. We never turn a profit, so it hardly qualifies as a trade secret.
Oh, so this incredible combat experience was all you're doing, Miss Claret. As brilliant as ever. As usual, this virtual combat event still offers different stages in both the Alliance and Special Offensive modes. To complete the challenge, proxies will need to achieve a higher combat score within a limited time. The different stages also come with their respective buffs. Clear the stages to claim polychromes and other rewards, including tuning calibrators. Come take on the challenge, proxies! Now that we've covered the new events, let's check out what new gameplay awaits us. First up, Enigma of the Labyrinth, Operation Bagel is getting a new update. The 2 new agents debuting in version 3.2 will also join the gameplay, along with their corresponding tactical prism programs and new universal gear for the new armorer specialty. A new item, Break-Even Beacon, will also be added. Using it summons a bamboo that will evacuate with some supplies of your choosing directly, so they won't be lost even if the extraction attempt fails. The supplies carried away by the bamboo will still count toward the total value of your loot for the current run.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I should give it a shot.
Hopefully the supplies you bring back are worth as much as the porcelain you casually gave away, Milady.
I never just hand it over on a whim. It's always a carefully thought-out decision.
A friendly reminder, the season commissions from version 3.1 will reset at the end of the season, so make sure to grab any remaining season coins before it's too late. We've also got some exciting updates planned for future versions. But for the details, let's leave it to our other special guest, Y, to fill you in.
神将们好，我是小 Y。贝果计划上线以来，收获了很多神将的关注和喜爱。非常感谢大家的热情，团队也在持续关注大家的反馈。这次也想在前瞻和大家简单聊聊后续的更新方向。在 3.1 版本中，我们提到贝果计划将以赛季制的形式更新。贝果计划的赛季更新未来将分为常规赛季更新和主题赛季更新。首先是常规赛季更新，主要包含新的 Z 级贵重物品、角色武备、进阶挑战、全服排名以及赛季任务重置等。3.2 版本是首次常规赛季更新，除了 Z 先生介绍的内容外，我们还会新增 Z 级贵重物品以及提升高难度投资挑战的上限。想冲刺更高收益的神将们可以开始准备起来了。另外，我们也会在 3.2 的赛季商店中新增赛季背包扩容插件、神将时装配饰等奖励，供神将们兑换。而主题赛季的更新内容体量会更大，在常规赛季更新的基础上带来更多玩法内容，如新地图、新系统、新的战斗内容以及更高难度挑战等等。主题赛季的更新已经在紧锣密鼓的开发中，在不久的将来就可以与大家见面。神将们可以关注一下后续的前瞻信息。当然，除了内容更新外，我们有持续关注大家的体验反馈，并对问题进行优化调整。更多详细信息还请关注后续公告内容。最后，再次感谢神将们对贝果计划的支持。作为全新常驻玩法，贝果计划在内容体验上仍有很多打磨空间，我们会继续努力。9月9日新版本见。
Thank you, I, for sharing all those details with us. We also hope the upcoming updates will bring proxies an even better experience. Let's take a look at some of the other gameplay updates. In version 3.2, Shiyu Defense and Deadly Assault will continue to rotate as usual, with new enemies joining the roster. In Shiyu Defense, proxies will encounter a new mech enemy that can activate optical camouflage and blink around the battlefield, launching attacks from different angles. Triggering a certain number of dodge counters will thwart this attack, so be sure to time your counters carefully and stay on your guard. In Deadly Assault, a new enemy capable of creating spatial fissures and moving freely through them will join the fray. Its attacks are just as unpredictable and ferocious, so don't let your guard down. Additionally, Phaethon of the Scorched Horizon will return with a new look in Adversity mode, with a new control skill and other dangerous moves added to its arsenal. Of course, you could try leaving those control skills to Miss Claret.
It's always the same tricks. No matter how many times they come at me, I'll send them packing easily.
By the way, the new version of Hollow Zero also includes the exclusive gear for the 2 new agents. So proxies who are interested are more than welcome to try it out. And now it's time for Ridu Renovation talk. Let's check out what's new in this update.
Let me be clear. If all you did was add some flashy but useless features, I'm not going to go easy on you.
Don't you worry about that. In version 3.1, proxies could receive a free S-rank agent of their selection. To improve the experience for new proxies joining us in the future, we've decided to add 3 of those agents, Jane, Hugo, and Soldier Zero Envy, to the beginner guide. For proxies who weren't able to claim the selection rewards in version 3.1, you'll be able to claim one of these 3 agents directly from the beginner guide after the version 3.2 update. After completing the Phase 2 missions in the guide, you can also choose one of their corresponding W engines.
Proxies who missed the last event don't need to worry.
In the new version, the president of Belobog, Claret, is getting an upgrade. We've increased the maximum number of furnace fire stacks. When using an enhanced basic attack, its effects increase based on the number of stacks consumed. After Claret completes the first hit of her enhanced basic attack, proxies can switch to another character, and Claret will remain on the field to complete the second hit of the attack. Additionally, consuming furnace fire will provide a damage buff to all agents in the squad.
Her weapon is a sledgehammer, milady.
She'd certainly make a great smith. How about we try to recruit her? Might help us improve efficiency and cut costs.
But Miss Claret is the current president of Belobog Heavy Industries. Then again, she and Miss Claret should make a pretty solid team in combat. In combat, we can see that once Claret has furnace fire stacks, she can use her enhanced basic attacks alongside her teammates to quickly stun enemies. It's also worth mentioning that Claret can increase the laceration damage of armorer agents or grant other agents additional crit damage. Proxies can further enhance this effect through potential activation.
Yeah, I can tell she's got potential for forging. Are you sure we can't convince her to jump ship and join us?
I'll go talk to her.
Enough, you two. What's more, we've also optimized how perfect assists are triggered. For combat in future versions, a gold flash indicates that the attack can be countered with defensive assists, while a red flash indicates that the attack cannot be countered with defensive assists. Proxies can use the enemy's flash cues and their squad composition to decide whether to switch agents in or out, letting them respond to the enemy's attacks with precision. No need to worry about a sudden dodge throwing off your attack rhythm.
That's right. It's very important in high-intensity games.
We've also made a few small tweaks to the drive disk recommendation feature. Once the new version goes live, proxies can immediately view recommendations whenever they obtain a drive disk. We've also updated the drive disk recommendations for existing characters, keeping their guides up to date.
It would definitely make things smoother and easier to pick up.
Much appreciated for your kind words, Miss Claret. On top of that, we've made a few more tweaks here and there.
Such as?
For example, we've also improved the agent filter function. We've also improved the issue where filter options were not saved after leaving the menu. In the new version, your filter settings and results will be temporarily saved, so you won't have to select everything again.
Cool. Less time spent resorting means I can tidy up more reports.
Just how many reports do you have to sort through in a day?
Oh, and there are some tweaks to the Hollow Zero store too. Materials in self-select bundles will now be displayed with the newer materials up front.
Nice! Roxy won't have to worry about me missing the new materials anymore.
With the addition of the Armorer agents, the VR training room now features new stages for Armorer materials. At the same time, through Signal Search or the Gadget Store, proxies can obtain the A-Rank W engine Catty-Lug and the B-Rank W engine Lunar Semi-Luna, both tailored for Armorer agents. The City Fund benefits now also include the W engine Blood Marrow Coffer, designed specifically for Armorer agents. Proxies can also use the Great Builder certificate to redeem it in future versions. Of course, there will also be a brand new sidebar theme and pendant. For more details, you'll have to dive into version 3.2 and experience it for yourselves, Proxies. And that's a wrap on today's show. Thanks for making time to visit despite your busy schedules, Miss Claret and Miss Roxy.
If it weren't for Mr. Z going out of his way to personally invite me time and time again, I wouldn't even...
But I thought it was because you said the commission fee for this livestream appearance was very generous.
Roxy! We'll talk about this after the show's over.
You two are as in sync as ever. Now then, thank you to all proxies for tuning in to the program. Missing Porcelloy, clashing powers, and the secrets the Sunbringers keep buried deep. All of these are waiting to be uncovered in version 3.2.
Stay tuned, Proxies. There's plenty more to come.
All right, so don't you dare miss version 3.2. Be there or be square. Bye,
Bye,
Proxies.
Proxies.